Hello, great day everyone. This is Jason Santos, and for today we are going to continue the discussion of service culture. We are already on session 7, coaching opportunities as learning opportunities. So let's get started. Our objectives will be to define what coaching is all about, what is a coaching session, what are the steps in the coaching cycle, and some of the benefits of a coaching session. In an organization where leadership is a priority, coaching session takes place, and coaching sessions are considered learning opportunities as they provide a room for sharing best practices and brainstorming session that gears towards one personal growth. So, if you would remember last time, we had topics such as motivation. We also had topics about skills. So we have hard skills and soft skills. Okay. So I would just like to reiterate that in an organization nowadays, soft skills plays a more important role as compared to the hard skills. Okay, so we are going to expound that further as we continue on this lesson. But we would just like to reiterate the importance of a coaching session because the coaching session will help the employee or subordinate improve his or her performance. Okay, a development providing people with tools, knowledge, and opportunities they need to fully develop and be effective. So the coaching session provides all your tools, the knowledge, and opportunities. Okay, and it is also framed as a designed alliance focused on developing an individual to become their best self and to contribute their best fit and talent. So that's what's very important wherever we may go in an organization. We need to find our best fit. If I would speak in vernacular, meaning saan ba talaga tayo dapat nakapwesto? Where will be, where will we be placed wherein we would win or situations kung saan tayo ay mananalo, right? Or we will be successful. And the coaching session or through the coaching session, it would be easier for us employees, workers, professionals to identify the best fit. Okay. One thing that's very important when you enter into a coaching session, you must be reminded, or we must all be reminded, that we must leave our egos at the door. What does that mean? The coaching session is an egoless process in which coachable moments are created to draw out distinctions and promote shifts in thinking and behavior. So, it is really important for us to set aside our egos. We all know that most of us are successful. We all have our accomplishments, titles, so on and so forth. But when you enter into a coaching position, you must know that you came here to learn. Okay, sa Tagalog, pag pumunta ka sa isang coaching session, dapat iwanan mo yung ego mo, no? Leave your ego at the door. Don't think it's as if magaling ka na, wala ka nang pwedeng matutunan, or nobody can tell you something, no? Kasi if that's the case, then hindi ka talaga matututo if you have that mentality that you are the best, okay? And you don't have any opportunity areas, okay? It's okay to think that and be confident, but when you are in a coaching session, be teachable, be trainable, okay? Sabi nga natin be like a sponge. Um, dapat ready tayong tanggapin kung ano man yung ituturo sa atin during that session. A professional discipline and skill set which enhances performance, action, creativity, momentum, and transformation. So, all of these things can be accomplished through coaching. Okay? The performance enhancement, actions, creativity, so on and so forth. A coaching session is a process that enables people's success, particularly in the BPO industry. So, again, as I have discussed during the introduction, service culture is one of the few subjects that were added after the growth in BPO industry. After the scene growth, no? Nung nakita nila yung growth sa BPO industry in the Philippines, they have think of aligning the curriculum. And one of the subjects that were added was service culture. Itong pinag-aaralan natin. In communicating positivity and in being non-judgmental, a coaching session helps to improve both a team and an individual's performance. Okay, so this is not just for a team, but also for um, an individual. Okay, so we won't be able to perform this one because we are in a remote session. But this is something that we are doing in the past when we do the discussion or this seventh discussion live in front of the students. Now we go to the coaching cycle, and this is the model that we have discussed earlier in the objectives. This model is called the GROW model, and it is a tried and tested coaching approach. The GROW model represents the goal, reality, options, and the will. And then if you would see, this is a cycle. So it starts with the goal, goes to the reality, goes to the options and the will. So let's inspect all of these one by one. Along with the grow model, we must be reminded that when we coach people, whether you are the subordinate or you are the manager, you are a future leader, no? we we must be reminded that the approach must be the Socratic method rather than the sarcastic method. So when we say Socratic method, you don't assume right away. Like for example, ano, I'll speak in Tagalog. Pagkakausap mo yung subordinate mo, it's as if tinatambak mo na sa kanya kaagad kung ano yung kailangan niyang gawin. Okay, Juan, Pedro, mabagal ka or marami kang problema sa attendance, you have to do this, you have to do that, etc. Rather than using the Socratic method, pag sinabi mong Socratic, you always ask questions like, oh Pedro, what happened? Bakit ang dami nating absences last month? Eh kasi sir, this is what happened. I've had issues in the family, nagkasakit ako, so on and so forth. Ah, okay. O kumusta naman? Okay ka na ba? How are you feeling right now? So, all of those things can be done rather than dictating to the person what he or she needs to do during a coaching session. So again, going back, sabi natin kanina, we have this grow model and it starts with the goal. And in the past, we have already studied um, how a goal should be done, okay, or crafted. And we have this SMART, okay. When you say SMART, it starts with specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So that's how goals should be written. Smart, and I'm sure most of you are already familiar with this. Okay, so I'm going to skip this one. Um, Guide questions to facilitate the first step in establishing the goal is again Socratic method. You ask the question. So how will you know that you have achieved the goal? So you ask the person that. Now, how will you know the problem is solved? Okay. So alam naman natin, no? It starts with a goal, and in writing the goal, it has to be specific, smart, realistic, time-bound, etc. Kunwari, ang problem niya, attendance, and then you tell the person, okay, dapat next month 100% attendance. You're dictating that. You're not asking the person what is achievable for him or her. And when the other person tells you that this is what's achievable, it does not mean that you can't bargain. Pwede ka naman mag-bargain. Eh. It does not mean na hindi na natin siya pwedeng ma-achieve just because yun yung dinictate nung employee natin. Alright? So, now, on to step 2, we have to examine the current reality. So, when you talk of current reality, where are we right now? Nasaan na ba tayo? Okay? We want to have 100% attendance. Ano ba yung current performance mo? 75%, 85%, what? Okay, we have to really understand saan ba tayo nakapwesto ngayon, ano? So, it's a necessity for us to understand the reality. Like for example, this one. Your current score on the technical knowledge is 78%, and by the end of the month, you aim to hit 85%. Ang target mo is 85%, and now you are at 78%. Is it achievable? Oh, absolutely, it's achievable. Kasi magkalapit lang yan 78 and 85%. But what if the person's technical knowledge is 15%, tapos tinargetan mo siya ng 85%? Is that achievable? Is that realistic? Baka hindi niya kayang gawin yun because the gap is too far. Okay? Too far from each other. So, we have to know where are we? Nasaan na ba tayo? What's the current reality? So, guide questions to facilitate coaching and examining the current situation and realities like what's happening now, what, who, when, how, and often. So, what is the effect or result of that? So, again, these things are done again in a Socratic method. Puro question ulit yan, no? What, sino ba yung tinutukoy natin na employee? Ano yung performance, no? Are we talking of speed, customer service, um, attendance, so on and so forth, no? And then, when we have the goal, what is the effect or the intended result, right? So, yon. And then, after determining the reality, pagka nalaman na natin nasaan na ba tayo, we go now to the options, okay? So, this step, explore the options, allows the leader to let you think of contingencies if the first action item will not work. So, pag sinabi natin contingency, yun yung backup plan. Paano kapag hindi natin na-achieve yung 85%? Okay, sige, acceptable naman yan kasi we have seen an improvement, no? 85%, let's say nag-start ka from 50%. Tinargetan mo ng 85. Hindi niya na-achieve yung 85. But, the person is already at 78. It's okay. Okay? Kasi, that is the achievable target for the person, eh. Okay? So, this will allow you to come up with multiple action items. So, dapat marami kang backup plans. Marami kang contingencies. Okay? Sabi nga natin. What if this does not work? Anong gagawin natin? So on and so forth. And then this will allow you to come up with multiple action items or a means to meet and even exceed your goal. So, yun yung good thing, ano? Baka hindi mo lang ma-meet, mag-exceed ka pa. So, after exploring the options, the guide questions to facilitate the third step in establishing our options. So, what else can we do? What if this or that constraint were removed? What are the benefits and downsides of each options? And then, what factors will you use to weigh up the options? So, may mga options ka. And then, each options, as you can see here, lahat sila are being explored in great detail as well, no? And then, the final step in the grow model is establishing the will. So, later on, makikita ninyo, no, yung difference between skill and will. But, it's placed in the final step because the will, okay, is internal. It's in it. It's in the person. Okay? You can have all the motivational tools you want. You can have all the coaching to give the the employee. Pwede mong sabihin sa kanya lahat ng information, lahat ng mga magagandang bagay. But ultimately, if the person is not motivated, wala siyang will, hindi niya gustong gawin, tinatamad siya, okay? Wala siyang enough motivation to do it. And we have studied in motivation that motivation is internal. Okay? What's gonna happen? They won't be achieving the goal. Okay? So, again, we have been saying this many times. It is only that person, ano, yung tao na kausap natin. Siya lang, at siya lang talaga ang makakagawa, no, makakapag sabi kung ano yung goal na achievable sa kanya and what would motivate him or her into finishing and achieving that goal. Establish the will. Establishing the will is about getting your commitment. Kung sa will is commitment, eh. Are you committed or no? And then the will to achieve a specified goal. And then you can, as you can see here, these are still done in a Socratic approach. So still a lot of questions. So what will you do now and when? What could stop you from moving forward? How will you overcome it? Will this address your goal? How likely is this option to succeed? What else would you do? So nakikita ninyo, no, these are all filled with question, hindi yung dinidiktahan mo yung person na okay, pangit yung grades mo or pangit yung performance mo, ganito gawin mo, ganyan gawin mo. Right? It does not work anymore, ano? Especially nowadays, people are more smarter nowadays because of the internet, because of social media. Okay, they have all the tools because of the technology in internet, cell phones, computers, no? So they will have all of that information and they can easily compare it. Eh. So hindi na mag-work yung didiktahan mo lang yung mga tao. They would have to discover it for themselves. And you can achieve that through the Socratic approach, asking questions. Okay? So, again, skill or will. So there are only two root causes for a person's non-performance. Ano? Kulang ba siya sa skill or kulang siya sa will? Okay? What do we mean by that? Pag sinabi mong skill, bakit hindi siya makabenta? Maybe hindi pa siya masyado trained in sales. Okay? So, kung hindi pa siya ganun ka-trained, what should we do? We should just train the person. Ano? Give them sufficient training. O di kaya, accounting. Hindi siya marunong ng isang software. Or what should you do? Okay, itabi mo siya doon sa expert na when it comes to that tool. Okay? Skill. It's easier to train skills. Pero kapag will yung pinag-uusapan natin, if it's the person's motivation, the willingness, okay, mahirap siyang gawin. Kasi again, it must come from the person's internal motivation. Ano? So, if the person has high will and low skill dito sa ating quadrant, no, upper left, if the will is high, meaning ganado siya, talagang gusto niyang gawin, ano? Kulang lang siya sa skill. It's easy. You're just going to train the person. Ano? You're just going to guide the person. If the person has high will and high skill, highly skilled, high will, yan ang mga magaganda. Those are the types of employees that you really want to keep. Why? What you would have to do? We just have to empower them. Okay? Empower the person. Kasi kaya na niya eh. No, meron na siyang will, meron pa siyang skill. If the person has low will but highly skilled, yan, that's the problem. Again, motivation, ano? You have to motivate the person. Bakit? Kasi meron siyang skill eh. You know that the person can do it. Hindi lang siya motivated. Wala lang siyang gana. No? So, finally, low will, low skill, yun yung mga problem employees natin. Or yun yung mga, if you would start leading, be working in offices, organizations, corporation. Ito yung medyo mahirap, no? Because they have low willingness and then hindi pa sila skilled. Okay? For other organizations, especially if cutthroat organization, ano, meaning talagang very aggressive, to terminate na pagka ganun, ano, or tatanggalin mo na lang. Kasi, ano siya eh, outlier siya or siya yung pinakang mababa, no? Bottom performer. Okay? So, you see, pagka mag-identify tayo or before you go to a coaching session, you will just have to identify ano ba yung root cause of the non-performance? Is it skill or is it will? And then from there, we would be able to know what type of mentoring, coaching we will be doing for the person. So, what are the benefits of a coaching session? According to research, it enables team members and employees to perform better, especially when coached positively rather than constantly being evaluated and rated. Kapag ka kasi ini-evaluate and rate mo lang, parang hindi mo tinuturuan yung tao, um, mawawalan sila minsan ng gana, no? They are being treated like objects, parang hindi sila tinatrato na as a human being, no? Where there is respect and support in the coaching session, ano? It provides employees with a more positive outlook and inspiring performance, especially from the more reserved or reluctant. And then it promotes career self-reliance, which engages employees in continuous career development and promotes creativity, performance, and action across organizations. So, yun yung mga benefits of having regular coaching sessions and doing it frequently. Okay. Now, remember that everything that we are covering in the discussion of service culture is about leadership. So, as a future leader and a recipient of this process, you are now armed with fundamental concepts that will help you prepare to become a good leader who evaluates values and leverages coaching and the opportunity it provides. So, yung coaching talaga, this is a tool. Okay? You should use it to leverage as a leverage, no? Bakit may mga organization mas magagaling sila, mas successful sila, mas mataas yung ROI nila? It's because they invest in coaching sessions, they invest in people, they train people. Okay? And sabi nga natin yung tao, no, yun yung buhay ng organization. Eh. If people are not coached or mentored properly, they think what they are doing is right. Okay? Hindi na sila challenge na mas gandahan yung performance nila. So, again, with that, that ends our discussion for today. I'm leaving this assignment to you in your Google Classroom. So, please identify what type of coaching will you do for them. You discuss what type of coaching you will be doing for these three different persons. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you have learned something from this discussion. Thank you. To God be all the glory and see you on our next video.